So, OpenAI has just unveiled their groundbreaking AI agent, Operator, and let me tell you, it's a complete game changer. This marks the beginning of a new era where AI agents seamlessly handle complex tasks in the background while we focus on what truly matters. Imagine an AI that can browse the web for you, complete intricate tasks, and essentially act as your personal digital assistant. Operator, powered by OpenAI's cutting-edge computer-using agent, CUA model, sets a new benchmark for the future of AI agents. There's so much to unpack here, and I guarantee there are details most people have missed. In today's video, we'll dive into a demo of Operator in action, break down its capabilities, and discuss what this means for the future of AI. Stay tuned, because this is going to be huge.
This is the Operator homepage. It lives at operator.chatgpt.com. It'll be accessible as soon as the live stream is over. And as you can see, the interface is very similar to ChatGPT. You can type in a prompt, and an operator will try to execute the task to the best of its capability. You'll also see we have a list of pre-filled prompts here. These are not really meant to be recommendations. These are meant to be things that, to give you an idea of what Operator can do. We have also collaborated with various brands like OpenTable, AllRecipes, StubHub, Uber, Thumbtack, DoorDash, eBay, Target, to make sure Operator really works well on these websites. But also, we think users will find Operator very valuable in interacting with these platforms. So with that, let's jump in with a demo. OK, so I'm going to start with something fairly simple. I'm going to use OpenTable and say, book me a table for 2 at Beretta tonight at 7 p.m. OK.
And so you specifically chose OpenTable here.
Yeah, in this case, I'm asking Operator to use OpenTable to book a table for 2 at Beretta. Beretta is a restaurant in San Francisco. It's great. You should try it out. And at 7 p.m. And I'm using OpenTable in this case, but I could have easily said, just do Beretta, and it would have probably gone to search engine, figured out how to make a reservation as well. But let's see what it does.
So can you explain what's happening in this?
Yeah, right. So I'm going to expand this a little bit. So as soon as I typed in the query, Operator instantiated a completely remote browser. This browser is running in the cloud somewhere. And as you can see, it's already up and running. And my hands are off the keyboard. I'm not typing these things.
So this is just the AI's clicking around.
AI is just clicking around. It started this browser session. It knew where OpenTable website is, which is opentable.com. As you can see, it's summarized chain of thought here as well, which is it's gone to the URL, searched for Beretta. And something cool really happened, which is for some reason, OpenTable thought we were in Virginia, and it auto-corrected itself to San Francisco. This is using, so like ChatGPT, in Operator, you can also give custom instructions. So I'm going to show this really quickly here. OK. So I've given a custom instruction that for queries that need it, I live in San Francisco. So Operator recognized that and then auto-corrected itself to go to Beretta. OK, looks like 7 p.m. isn't available. But you know what? 7:45 is just fine. So we're going to go do that. So in this case, Operator came back, and this is a really good example of task delegation where Operator needs help or needs assistance or just wants to ask you something. It'll just come back and answer that
So
query.
in practice, you wouldn't have had to watch this. You could have just let it go off while you're doing other things, then it would come back and say, hey, I can't do 7:45.
Totally.
Yeah.
And we're starting with a web app. You'll get notifications, etc. When Operator moves into mobile, you'll get mobile notifications, much like interactions we do with general apps. OK, yes, that's great. Let's do it. OK, so again, very simple interaction as you would have with an assistant, which is, hey, I found a reservation, 7 p.m. wasn't available, let's do 7:45. And again, you can see Operator at this point has said, OK, should I? Again, this is a really good example of the confirmations work we're going to talk about a little bit later. But before doing an action, which is sort of irreversible in this case, we can cancel the reservation, obviously. But again, taking a critical action, Operator is asking us before actually doing it. And in this case, I'm going to say, let's do it. OK, it was pretty quick, I would say, like 50 seconds. And again, we were watching in this case, etc. But as Sam said,
you could kick off 10
kick
of
it off
these,
and go on.
Now let's take a closer look at how the Operator agent actually works. What makes this agent so unique is that it operates much like a human. It observes the screen, analyzes the pixels, and reasons about what action to take next. Whether it's clicking a button, scrolling, or navigating to a different page, all based on the end goal and the steps taken so far. This approach is groundbreaking because it allows the Operator agent to generalize across a wide variety of tasks. While it's currently handling simpler web-based tasks, As the model improves in reliability and reasoning, it'll be capable of tackling far more complex challenges. This signals a future where AI tools like Operator can seamlessly adapt to an ever-expanding range of use cases, making our workflows more efficient than ever.
Now that you've seen a bit of Operator, let me talk a little about the research behind it. So Operator is based on a new model we've trained at OpenAI, which we're calling the Computer Using Agent, or KUA for short. So KUA is a model built off of GPT-4o, but it's also trained to use and control a computer in the same way that humans can by just looking at the screen and using a mouse and keyboard to control it. Before, if you wanted to build something like Operator without KUA, you'd need to use some specialized APIs. For example, if you wanted your model to buy stuff from Instacart, you'd need to figure out if Instacart had an API. You'd need to figure out if that API had all the functions that it needed, and you need to give your model the specs of that API. But if your site, like most other websites, did not have an API, then you're out of luck.
So this is just using screenshots, no API, nothing, just
No
working.
API, yes. And that's where KUA comes in. By teaching a model how to use the same basic interface that we use on a daily basis, it just unlocks a whole new range of software that it can use that was previously inaccessible.
And so this is keyboard and mouse, right? It's kind of using keyboard and mouse just
Exactly.
like human would.
Yes. And that's really what the KUA research project is about. It's about removing one more bottleneck in our path towards AGI and letting our agents move around and act in the digital world.
So there you have it. Our first look at OpenAI's Operator agent in action. What's truly remarkable about Operator is its complete autonomy. You can assign it a task, and it operates independently without requiring you to monitor it in a web browser. This is a game-changing feature because the most impactful AI agents of the future will be those that can take instructions, execute tasks on their own, and free us up to focus on more meaningful work. That's where the real leverage lies. One thing I noticed during the demo is that Operator occasionally asks for additional permissions at certain checkpoints, which is reassuring. It's a safeguard to ensure users remain in control. However, looking ahead, it's highly likely that future iterations of these models will be able to reason independently and adapt to the level of autonomy you're comfortable granting them. This is just the beginning of what's possible.
You know what? I want a little bit more eggs. I think we eat a lot of eggs. Okay, so what I can do at this point, and I'm going to just click this button called Take Control. So this remote, as we were talking about, like Operator fires up this remote browser to do it. We almost think of it as a surface area where Operator can work and then I can work. For example, in this case, I took over control from Operator, which is also key to sort of how we think about user and user controls. Like at any point in time, a user should be able to take control and give Operator instructions or tell a little bit more, guide a little bit more, etc.
It's like passing the laptop back and forth, just like you did with Ray.
Totally, exactly right. Just like, in this case, I'm gonna make those two, and then I'm just gonna tell Operator. This is again like very much like if you and I were working, I'd be like, hey, I did this, can you fix this? And I'm gonna tell Operator, I added another egg, good to place order now.
Can operators see what you're doing during takeover mode?
Great point. So when you take over, it's very much just like a session with your local browser. It's completely private. Operator cannot see. And this is one of the part of the reasons why I have to tell Operator. Or you don't really have to. It can look at the last screenshot and try to guess it. But it's really good. It's sort of like if you and I were working together, I went off and did something, and I come back like, Ray, I completely messed it up. Can you fix this? Can I have to tell you that? So in this case, I'm going to tell Operator, hey, go ahead. And now I'm passing back the control to Operator. It's a completely private session when you take over control. This is you'll notice that I'm logged into Instacart here. I did it before the demo, or it has been logged in for a while now. And it's, again, very much like your local browser. When you log into Instacart, until the cookies are cleared, you stay logged in. And we have really good controls. You can go in settings and control and remove at any point in time.
As we just saw, this technology represents a step toward bridging the gap to AGI, but there's still work to be done. While the Operator agent is impressively skilled at browsing the internet and performing tasks, it's not yet on par with human abilities. Now, you might be wondering, what does this mean for job security, or how this AI stacks up against the average human when using a computer? To address this, OpenAI conducted a benchmark test pitting the Operator agent against human users. The results revealed fascinating insights into where these models excel and where humans still hold the advantage. What's truly exciting is how rapidly these benchmarks are evolving. As these models improve, it'll be fascinating to track their progress and see how close they come to matching or even surpassing human capabilities in the near future.
So how reliable is this in practice?
Yeah, so we've seen a lot of cool demos, but again, we want to remind you that Operator is a research preview. It will make mistakes, and it is not perfect. That said, we can look at a few benchmarks and kind of quantify how good Operator is right now. So one of the first benchmarks that we're going to look at is called OS World. OS World is an eval that measures how well AI agents navigate common operating systems like Linux. On this task, Kua gets a 38.1% score, which is higher than other publicly published results. Human performance in this task is 72.4%, so we still have room to grow, definitely. The other eval we'll take a look at is called WebArena. WebArena is an eval that measures how well AI agents navigate some common websites like e-commerce websites or social forum websites. So on this task, Kua gets 58.1%, again, higher than other publicly published results, but still falls short of human performance.
Still a way to go.
Still a way to go, yes. One thing that's important to remember about WebArena is that even though it's the web, we're still just giving it the same universal interface of screen, mouse, and keyboard. We're not giving it any extra information that might help it do the task, like the raw text of the web page or information about which buttons are clickable. And all the information it needs, just like humans, is just in the screenshot.
Another crucial aspect OpenAI is focusing on is safety. Using an AI agent like Operator opens the door to incredible possibilities, but also to potential risks and security vulnerabilities. Imagine an AI agent, or even a group of them, performing tasks on the internet that could be harmful, unethical, or even borderline illegal. This could range from harassment to other activities that these systems simply shouldn't be doing. To address these concerns, OpenAI has developed a robust framework to ensure the Operator agent remains aligned with ethical guidelines. This framework is designed to prevent the agent from making harmful decisions, protect your personal details from being leaked, and safeguard against actions that could compromise your security. While this is a promising step forward, it highlights how critical safety and alignment will be as AI agents become more integrated into our digital lives.
Yeah, so I think we're all very excited about this vision of Operator doing your chores for you, but it is one of the first agents that we're putting out in the world and which has real-world side effects. And so we thought carefully about how to deploy this safely. The framework we used to think about this was one centered around misalignment. So for example, what if the user is misaligned? So maybe they're asking for a harmful task, like buy a weapon or something like that. In that case, fortunately, we've done a lot of work with ChatGPT to bring over a lot of the same mitigations. So for example, we refuse harmful tasks, including harmful agentic tasks. We have moderation models, we have post-hoc detection, we have blocked websites. And I'm kind of rattling off these mitigations, but that's really how we think about it. It's this stack of mitigations that each incrementally reduce the risk to the point where we feel comfortable deploying.
So all the confirmations that we're saying, hey, do you want to reserve the restaurant?
Yeah,
should you
exactly.
buy the tickets? Those are all examples of the safety.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm about to talk about the confirmations. So another area of misalignment is if the agent is misaligned. So if the model makes a mistake, maybe purchases the wrong item or books the wrong hotel room. For this, our main mitigation is confirmations. So the operator will come back if it's about to do something stateful and ask you so you can double check what its details in case it made some error. The third area of misalignment is if the website is misaligned. So maybe the website is fraudulent, or it's a fake website, or maybe it's literally like, operator, please wire me $100. We obviously don't want to follow those instructions. So we've developed our model to try to avoid those instructions and not follow them. But if that fails, we also have a separate layer on top. This is what we call the prompt injection monitor. Think of it as like antivirus that kind of observes and watches your trajectory and sees if there's anything suspicious. If it does, then it pauses it. So we feel pretty comfortable with our approach, but obviously, safety is an ongoing process. We can't predict everything. So we hope to learn a lot from this deployment and iterate on our mitigations as we go.
And that is one of the reasons we are starting small. Like, we want to really iterate, get a lot of feedback, and then gradually bring it to everyone as well.
Exactly.
This level of safety is incredibly important. After all, we wouldn't want our AI agents making decisions like using our credit card to send money to scammers. Imagine waking up to find your agent had transferred $1,000 to a random account. Frustrating, right? Now let's shift gears and talk about the future of AI agents. You might be thinking, okay, this agent is here, it works, it has a virtual browser, and it can handle a variety of useful tasks. But what's next? Sam Altman has hinted in recent live streams that this is just the beginning. Operator is essentially a beta, a starting point for people to grasp the potential of AI agents and begin building workflows that truly make sense. Looking ahead, it's highly likely we'll see AI agents that are far more comprehensive and specialized. OpenAI has even hinted at the development of domain-specific agents like a coding agent, which they reportedly already use internally. The possibilities are vast, and it's clear we're just scratching the surface. The future of AI agents promises to be incredibly exciting, with tools that will not only be more powerful but also tailored to specific needs and industries. This is truly an amazing time to be involved in AI.
And one last thing. We're launching this today. We're going to start slowly rolling it out right now. By the end of the day, everyone on Pro in the US will have access. But also, we're working on the API. This model will be available in the API and will be launching in a few weeks.